Okay, let's get to the response to the response. Gregg Berhalter, has he broken the code of the locker room here? What's your reaction to this story spilling out in this manner?
Why? What type of Muppet does this? Think about this.
That's strong.
No, it's not. Your one job is the collective. Your one job is to treat that locker room like a sanctuary. Giovanni Reyna's statement, Gregg Berhalter's own words of keeping things in-house, betrayed right there. I've not been to many symposiums. I can't imagine you would tell a mass number of people to shh, keep this between us. What do you get out of that? By singling out a player, not naming him, knowing, because we said this, somebody will talk. It will get out. And then having it get out this way and then saying, oh, my bad, I thought that was off the record.
Right.
I said off the record.
So he was asked
It's
about...
a betrayal, Sebi. He betrayed that locker room. And if I'm another player in that locker room, how could I ever trust him again?
So he was asked about, like, handling difficult decisions around performance. That's the question. He literally could have picked any other example to give. He clearly chose this one. Do you think that he wanted it to get out, or do you think there's a – because you always say if there's anybody that's green here with this team, it's Gregg Berhalter. Is this him being naive or clever? Right? Has he intentionally put this out in this manner, or is he naive to have thought?
If you think he intentionally put it out in this manner.
Well, I don't believe that Gregg Berhalter is so naive to think that speaking to a room, even if the rules are off the record, that this would not get out. Because literally, if he didn't want this to get out, he could have chosen any other example. He could have chosen something from Columbus Crew days, right? He chose this example to a room full of people. How about this? He may not wanted it to have gotten out. I don't think he minds that it got out, because if he really wanted to keep it a secret, this is not the story that he would have told in this symposium. That's hard for me to believe.
You don't think he minds that it got out? This undermines the message that he's been peddling the whole cycle.
So he's just naive enough to think that a room full of...
That's one word. That's one word you could use, Sebi. I mean, Seb, he's not a good leader. That's a reality here. They've built a great chemistry, they've built a great culture, all of this, all the recruits that have come in, he's not a good leader. And he doesn't like confrontation. Because
he's come on this show twice.
There was confrontation from John Brooks. There was confrontation from Matt Miazga. There's been confrontation in the past. Certain altercations, players, and they're no longer there. So that's one way. And then you're going to put up a leadership council. We saw the rotation of the armband throughout the cycle, which to me was ridiculous.
So he should be more of kind of a dictator in that locker room. He takes the decision. He owns the decisions.
No. A leadership council. Okay. That's saying there are certain problems. And listen, that's what a captain's for, right? But saying these problems are your problems to players is not correct. There are certain things that players shouldn't be policing themselves on, because it becomes a Lord of the Flies environment, and that is not healthy. That is not cohesive to a locker room type ambiance. That's where he is wrong. If there was a vote with the leadership council or even his own coaching staff, at the end of the day, it's his job. There are a lot of good things he did in dealing with this. Okay? Trying to protect the player. I really do think he was trying to protect the player, and that's a good thing.
Right. Because the nuclear option is send him home.
This is a bone-headed move. And trust me, I'm sure it wasn't easy for him having this type of rift with Giovanni Reyna. Claudio Reyna and Claudio Reyna's wife are very close to Gregg Berhalter. I'm sure this is very difficult for him, which makes everything even worse. It makes it worse. And now, you may be trying to re-sign with U.S. Soccer. You may be trying to dip your toe in the European pool.
To that point, I'm interested in what you said. that this effectively loses the locker room for him. I think you said, if you're a player in there now, how do you trust him moving forward? As I put all this together, and I don't believe Berhalter to be so naive. I do think he's somewhat calculated. This feels like a guy that on his way out. I don't. If he was coming back or wanted to come back.
Why the strays? There are ways to go out.
Do you not read into this that way? That this is a guy on the way out?
You're going to let a 20-year-old catch strays like that?
I'm not saying it's the right way to go out. I'm just saying,
wow,
you don't do this if you're coming back. If you have a mind on coming back.
Fair. Fine. Okay? But if I'm the next team, if I'm the next potential landing spot, this is a tournament setting. This is a team that gets together once every, 3 months? And you've had these issues? How will it be in the day-to-day? Yeah. Wouldn't that make me second-guess things? Now, Gregg Berhalter, honestly, I think he's a good guy. I think he's done a lot of good with the program. His management of certain players, certain roles, has left a lot to be desired. We've seen reports of players in that locker room, per The Athletic, who think there may be a problem in terms of respect